Before I get to the movie review, I would like to say I support the WGA and the SAG strikes because without actors and writers, we wouldn't actually have the movies that we enjoy today. Because we knew how important these guys are. So we actually continue to support them during their strike, but we need to actually come together to actually to do what is right for them because they're the ones who actually make movies happen and the movies that we enjoy today. So I saw Disney's The Haunted Mansion movie, which is a remake of the 2003 version with Eddie Murphy. But now this new one actually has actors, of course, playing the paranormal investigators taking care of ghosts that haunting a mansion, which has a mother and son living in it. And of course, Jay Leno, it actually played the Hatbox Ghost, which of course a ghost have his head in a hat box, which that could be the villain of the movie, by which the scenes actually have scary images that could actually scar a lot of people for life. So here is the movie review. So the movie begins with Ben Malus, who's actually the astrophysicist, developed the camera that detect dark matter and paranormal entities. And if you ever notice that he is also portrayed by Lakeith Stanfield, who, judging by his voice, was actually Yosuke in the Netflix anime series Yosuke, which is really an awesome anime, to be honest, which he actually had met and married Alyssa, who was a ghost tour guide of a haunted house, which they've actually gotten married, and which became entranced by her belief in the supernatural because of the fact that they both believe in ghosts. However, after Alyssa tragically died from a car accident, Ben decided to give up on his career as a astrophysicist and continue to run her ghost tour to do her job, in which she is heartbroken by her tragic death. However, years later, we saw the single mother, Gabby, who is actually played by Sarah Dawson, and her son Travis, who played by Chase W. Dillon, which they move into Gracie Manor, which they're going to turn it into a bed and breakfast, which is actually is a theme of hotel. But they soon learn that it is haunted by ghosts, in which when Travis actually saw a ghost night and they actually been pursued by it and they tried to leave, but they realized they're actually have their home infested by the ghosts, and Ghostbusters are not going to help them. So Ben is actually visited by the priest and exorcist Father Keith, who's actually portrayed by Owen Wilson in his first Disney role, which he also played Morbius in Marvel Studios' Loki, which is actually a good series, not gonna lie. However, he hired him to photograph the ghost, in which he is reluctant at first. However, when he actually returns home, he was haunted by a ghost mariner, which, of course, a mariner who was killed and now being turned into a ghost, forcing him to return to the mansion, which, of course, we knew how all three of them are falling victims of the hauntings that forced him to stay in the mansion. So, the two have begun creative, and they actually recruited Harriet, a psychic with powers, who's portrayed by Tiffany Haddish, which they also have Professor Bruce Davis, who's played by Danny DeVito, which he actually had the blueprints stolen, which we see how they found a hidden seance room, which Harriet is going to contact the spirit of Gracie, who actually left a message to instructing them to talk to the legendary medium whose name Madame Leota, who's portrayed by Jamie Lee Curtis, who also won an award for Best Supporting Actress for everything. I mean, anything, everywhere, all at once. And we knew how they tried to talk to her, but which they've actually realized that a mysterious ghost forced Harriet out of the house, which dragging her with the chair out of the house like a amusement park ride, which the movie is based off of that, which Bruce arrives, who's actually being haunted, which the same thing happens to Ben when the ghost possess him, giving the audience a weird possessed face, in which the group stay in the mansion to actually looking for Leota's ghost, in which they go into the attic where Ben has encountered a ghost bride, which found a locked trunk, in which during the scene we see a picture of a man with a chicken, fried chicken, well actually a baked chicken actually, found a axe, which it becomes really haunting. So they found a crystal ball where it actually has Leota's ghost in it, which is revealed that William Gracie, who bought the mansion, recruited her to contact the spirit of her deceased wife every night for one full year, knowing how that consequence actually released hundreds of ghosts in the mansion, which before releasing a dangerous entity that trapped him into taking his own life, but instead trapping Leota into the crystal ball. So they actually had Harriet to perform an astral projection to ask for more answers, but ended up sending Ben out of his body to realize that Gracie is an evil entity known as the Hatbox Ghost, who is actually an animatronic character carrying a hat box in which wearing a top hat. And he's also voiced by Jay Leno, who's actually the Joker in the 2016 Suicide Squad, which is not good, And last year, Morbius, which is a Marvel movie, which he's the anti-hero vampire. So the next morning, we see how Ben and Bruce go to a sketch artist to draw the Hatbox Ghost, who's actually portrayed by Hassan Mihat, which identifies him as Alistair Clump, which he is actually known as the Hatbox Ghost, which who say that he was a rich heir who killed his fellow followers in revenge before beheading himself, which of course by his traitorous servants who actually hated him for what he has done. So Clump have actually locked the mansion, but we see Ben, Kent, and Travis escape, but only to be attacked by the scary trees with very scary faces, in which they managed to find Clump's Manor, which became a historic site where visitors get to see all the things that actually happened at his mansion, by which we knew how they actually realized how they were being followed by the mariner, who's actually telling them that Clump needed someone who was willingly to give up their life to become the manor's 1000th spirit, meaning that there were actually 999 spirits living in that mansion for him to actually escape. So they actually needed a human sacrifice to do so. However, Travis found Clump's top hat, which they're going to use it as a ritual to banish him into the afterlife. So they made it back to the mansion where they actually rescue Gabby, Harriet, and Bruce, but Clum realized of what he's about to do. He burns the hat and about to use Travis's grief over the loss of his father, which of course, that is how the death of his father actually happens, to come to his side. But Ben founds him and convinces him to let go of his father, which they are confronting Clump in the graveyard, where all the ghosts have actually appeared, knowing that the ritual was about to happen. So at that time, Ben has finally made peace with losing Alyssa, who actually is played by Chastity Jordan, which we knew how he had made peace with it. But Kent decided to convince the ghost to turn on Clump and join forces with them. So Bruce have delivered the piece of a hat to Harriet, who used Leota's in enchantment to actually banish Clump into the afterlife. So the ghost decided to stay in the mansion in harmony with Gabby and Travis, and Harriet finally regains full confidence in her psychic abilities, which she actually can contact the dead. And Kent is now operating to, go to a process to becoming a real priest. And Bruce managed his newfound friendships, in which Ben is going back to teaching astrophysicists and adopted a stray cat named Tater Tot, which is his wife's favorite snack, in which the group had reunited on Halloween for a party with the mansion with the ghosts finally be happily haunted, and the movie ends there. So the movie was actually incredible, even though many people who actually had mixed feelings about the movie. It's still an amazing movie, which the Top Hat Ghost is now a villain of the movie. And even though the actors are on strike, it's still a great movie. In which I still cannot wait to see what Disney also have in store in the near future. Hopefully, we get to see what else they have in mind. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment what you think about the movie review. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and my Facebook page and Twitch. Until then, this is Anime Guy Journey here saying signing out. Laters and be safe.